Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria. A reminder of our top stories. President Jonathan leads other party leaders in welcoming former Sokoto State Governor back to the People's Democratic Party from the All Progressives Congress. Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly debunks rumors of defection of 11 lawmakers to the All Progressives Congress. 3 lecturers and a student of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria killed in a car crash on the Abuja-Kaduna road. And 15 pilgrims died after a fire broke out in a hotel in Saudi Arabia, leaving about 130 injured. All our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit n.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from the respective stores. And you can now interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap on the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions to share your report, pictures, and videos. 2 middle-aged men have been arrested by the Ogun State Customs on suspicion of faking documents used to dupe members of the public. Parading the suspects in Idiroku, the Ogun Customs Area Commander, Haruna Mohammed, also raised concerns about the sophistication of smuggling activities around border communities.
It's possible to mistake this for a motorcycle park or even a sales output. It's neither of the two. What many would not guess, however, is that the motorcycles are in a holding place where smugglers use them to ferry bags of rice and poultry products across the country's borders. This, according to the customs boss, deprives government of revenue accruable to it through the customs service.
There are legitimate ways of doing business. There are a lot of items that can be carried across the border that are not prohibited. They don't have to go through prohibitions before they can survive. Rice is not banned, but rice is banned when it comes through an unapproved route.
Thousands of bags of rice and used vehicles were recorded by the customs officers in an operation that also nailed 2 men accused of taking customs documents for importing second-hand cars.
They have certificate of vehicles, custom assessment form, duty certificate, hard copy of SGD, Wema Bank deposit receipt, 20 copies of uncompleted vehicle duty papers. You can see them here. 77 unutilized bill of lading.
Beyond the punishment awaiting these suspects should they be found guilty of the crimes for which they are accused, is a message to others that sooner or later the long arms of the law will catch up with them.
Stay away from illicit drugs. That seems to be the message behind a new campaign by the Anambra State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The campaign aims to raise student models to become vanguards against drug abuse, with a vision to ensure that upcoming generations do not find themselves trapped in it.
You can see that plant there.
The target of this campaign against drug abuse, organized by the Anambra State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, are secondary school students. They are being warned against the dangers of indulging in drug abuse, especially cannabis sativa, popularly called marijuana, after intelligence reports of its excessive consumption in rural communities.
At Anambra State here, we discovered a lab where they were producing an illicit drug, methamphetamine, precisely December 2012. So we found out that there's a lot of drug problem in Anambra that we need to check.
There are several ways to address this problem. The NDLEA is soliciting intensive institution of drug-free clubs in secondary schools and an introduction of drug education into the school curriculum as approved by the government.
They are the future leaders. If we start with them at the secondary school level where you mold character, it will go a long way to help and to stop them from doing it.
The State Deputy Commandant of the agency and the Anambra State Commissioner for Education take time to explain to the students the dangers of drug abuse.
Their perception is impaired. You are not giving them the kind of regard that they need. It can also make you hallucinate. Their thought processes are impaired. The kind of man who wants to overtake a trailer by passing under it, you think it's normal. That's a go for you.
Desist from the temptation of taking drug to make you high. There's nothing like high. Instead, it will make you low. Psychologically, you are finished.
The booklet, Drugs and You, was launched and handed over to representatives of various secondary schools to be distributed among students.
I have learned that taking of cannabis is not good for students and even adults.
The commandant, in addition to the booklet, suggests that other measures needed to conquer the urge to indulge in drugs include adherence to school prep and participation in sports.
Staying with health, safe use of medicine is a fundamental component of modern treatment. However, an overdose or underuse of medicines are major factors that promote drug resistance and treatment failure. Tonight on our Focus on Health, our correspondent Yomi Otaibe takes you through the side effects of too much or too little use of medicines and using drugs to achieve effects other than its original purpose.
They come in rainbow colors: pink liquid, blue pills, and another might come out as yellow. Medicines are substances used to cure, prevent diseases, ease symptoms, and generally maintain health and well-being. But when does an individual cross the line of its safe use?
We are told that we should take, let's say, 2 tablets of this product only 2 times a day, morning and evening. That is the dose. But when you take it 2 times a day, it's underdose. When you take it 2 times, 3 times a day, it is overdose. The effect is, if we have something like an antibiotic and you are taking not enough dose, then this antibiotic will not perform the function you want on the body. They are not going to destroy the bacteria. And when they get used to this drug, they will live with the drug. That is what you call resistance. If you take a higher dose, then it affects the body because a drug has its own dose. Higher dose could be affecting the body itself. You don't want a medicine that will kill the problem and then kill the person.
For instance, if a doctor placed somebody on lisinopril 10 milligram in January, maybe 5 years later, the person might still be going to the counter to buy it. But within that period, there should be certain tests, there should be certain assessment to know if she should continue on that drug or not, or even on that dosage. So continually going to the pharmacist to buy it to take is also a misuse.
The name of the drug is Plovit. The manufacturer Plovit.
Easy access to drugs is believed to play an important role in self-medication and outright abuse of drugs, with limited compliance to drug prescription policy and the open drugs market still operating in Nigeria.
Virtually all the supermarkets sell drugs. All the kiosks, the malams, they hawk drugs in the filling station. I see them when I drive. So access to drug is crazy. The Pharmacist Council is there. NAFDAC is there to control the distribution and sales of drugs in unwholesome places.
We are not following what is expected for prescription medicines, which is you get a prescription from a doctor and take it to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy needs to have that before they can sell certain types of drugs to you. We know we have over-the-counter medicine which you can walk in and buy yourself, but the prescription ones must definitely come from a doctor.
While dealing with individuals' misuse of medicines at home seems difficult, medication errors also happen in hospitals and pharmacies.
Medication error could happen when a prescription is rightly generated, dispensed, and the medication gets across to the patient. Because there is an error that was not detected, that was not corrected, it could lead to harm for the patient. Like it was a case of a patient that was unconscious, and because he was unconscious, he had to be on infusion drips. But I discovered that for close to 2 days before his death, he was being given an infusion that contains just normal saline, no glucose. So I believe that young man died because of no glucose in the system, no glucose to sustain the brain. That's hypoglycemia.
The awareness is very, very crucial, because especially the overuse of analgesics, not just for professionals, even for common man, for taxi drivers, for the bus drivers, the way they take all sorts of things because of body pains and aches, they find out that finally it results in something that they cannot even afford, such as kidney failure.
What you can afford is to ask the doctor or pharmacist as part of safe medicine use if you should avoid certain food, beverages, other medicines or activities while taking a drug, because it's about your life and health. Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the organized private sector expresses worry over investors' confidence in the economy in the face of development on the political scene. That's on Business News. Please join us again.